Hi, and welcome to the Merryweather Knitting Podcast. My name is Gabriella, and I'm coming to you from my home in Germany, where I live with my husband, our 10-month-old daughter, and our little cat. And I'm so excited to chat with you today about what I've been knitting and what I've been working on crafting-wise this week. Usually, I mostly talk about knitting, sometimes spinning, but today I also have another craft to share with you that is also fiber-related, so stay tuned for that. But first, I wanted to say a huge thank you. As of yesterday, I have 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and I just couldn't believe it when I saw that number. I am over the moon excited, so thankful. Just an incredible thing that I found this community here on YouTube and with this podcast. So I'm so thankful if you subscribed. It's been so lovely to get to know some of you, to hear from you, to chat with you. I'm really so honored that you're joining me and having me in your homes with you through this podcast. So thank you so very much. I feel like my life has been so enriched by this community. So it's been really such a fun journey already. And it's just beginning, I feel like. So thank you so much. So now to get into the knitting, I don't think I can wait another moment. I've been so excited to show you what I've been working on this week. I feel like it's not that much, but I've just been enjoying my crafting and knitting. So the first thing I want to show you is my Clover sweater. Now, I showed you last time. I think last time I just started the ribbing. I had knit my swatch, gotten gauge, and I just knit one swatch because I felt like my gauge was good. After I had blocked that swatch, I had good gauge, so I went ahead and started. But knitting that swatch was great practice for the cable pattern that I have on this sweater. So let me show you how it's coming along. This is the Clover pattern by Wallin. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, which is an amazing thing. She has such beautiful patterns, and it's such an amazing thing that she has. I think she actually has a few free patterns on Ravelry, but it's such a generous, lovely thing of her because she's just an amazing knitwear designer, and her patterns are just absolutely beautiful. So it's a cabled sweater knit in parts. So knit in pieces, knit in the flat, knit in pieces. And this is a construction that I've never done before. So it's been a real learning experience for me, just as I've been knitting it, because, I think that right now it's very in fashion to knit mostly sweaters in the round. I think that's just very popular. And I just had never knit a sweater in the flat. And since I'm a self-taught knitter, I'm just kind of a part of this, this kind of Ravelry generation, you could say, where I came into knitting when Ravelry already existed pretty much. And I just think that mostly designers on Ravelry and independent designers are just very popular to design things in the round, which is a lovely construction. But I know that I think for a long time, often sweaters were knit more often in pieces. Maybe not everywhere in the world. Maybe that's kind of just something that some kind of a story I made in my own mind. But I know, like, some people I know who are knitters, who are older, who didn't know about Ravelry were a bit surprised to see me knitting something in the round when I knit a sweater in the round, for example. So yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm really loving this construction so far, and I really am excited about the way that it's going to fit being a seamed sweater, because I have noticed on my husband's sweaters, he has yoked sweaters. They tend to kind of start to be a little slouchy and fall off the shoulders. I don't know, they get a little baggy at the top. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, and it's probably actually just my fault. It's probably my gauge. It's probably my knitting. But I do notice that I feel like they kind of lose shape after a while. Obviously, the most recent one I made for him, I felted at the end, and I think that one's going to be the exception for sure. I think it's going to maintain its shape pretty well because it's been felted or fold, I think, I'm not sure. But the other ones I've knit for him are just a bit, I don't know, they feel like a little shapeless because of the yoke. And I don't know if it's the yoke's fault or if it's my fault, but regardless, I've heard that seamed sweaters fit well. So I'm very, very excited about this. I'm really excited about knitting this and piecing it together. And the cable pattern is nothing crazy. It's not extremely complicated or anything like that. It's definitely doable, but for me, this is a challenge. For me, it is a step out of my comfort zone. It's kind of a challenging project for me because of the cables, but even more than just the cables, the amount of concentration that it requires. Not even that it's that complicated, but it's just, you know, it's like 3 different sections that are all different. So it's not like, you know, you have 10 stitches you repeat through the whole round, or a row, or you know, that you have like a little repeat that's short. It's really a chart that you need to follow that's very different along the way. So for me, that's a challenge because it's the complete sweater. It's not just a part of it. And just because it requires extra concentration. I can only knit this like at night or when Esmeralda is asleep, because if she's there, I can't focus enough on the sweater to be able to knit it. And so that makes my time, you know, it limits the time that I can work on this, because often while she's playing or sitting, I love to knit and just be with her and let her just independently play while I knit, which is something I really enjoy, because I feel like she really already has really learned to enjoy playing alone. It's so lovely just to sit and knit and be present with her there. I like to try to not be on like my cell phone or, you know, distracted by any kind of other like electronics or anything else. I like to be mentally there in a way with her. Although we have music on often while she's playing, but I feel like knitting is a very good kind of occupation and you know, for me, something to do while she's there and playing. So I really enjoy that, but I can't do that with this project because it just takes a little bit more focus than that. But I've been knitting on it in the evenings and sometimes during nap times. It's just a really lovely pattern. You can see it. So it's just twisted stitches and beautiful. It's a beautiful cabled pattern, which I think is stunning. You can see kind of like beautiful details of the pattern. It's just so beautiful. And this is knit out of Rowan felted tweed in the shade Lotus Leaf, which I showed previously. It's just a beautiful yarn. I am so excited to be able to work with this yarn. It's just, I feel like a classic yarn, and it's definitely going to make for a very wearable, I think long wearing piece. I cast on using the German twisted cast on, I think it's called. It's like the long tail cast on, but you twist a little bit. If you've never done it, I recommend trying it out, maybe for a pair of socks or something that needs a stretchy cast on. And I decided to do it just because it's super stretchy and because it's not that difficult and it's pretty quick. But I just thought at the bottom of this, it springs back, but it's stretchy. It would be a good bottom of my pullover cast on. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have enough experience casting on these kind of sweaters to really know, but so far it looks good. So I'm really happy about it. And then also, since I've never knit a sweater in pieces before, and because this pattern is very well written, very properly written, but I think it's also like, it assumes that you know certain things about knitting and about the process. It doesn't tell you to put a selvage edge on the piece when you knit it. And I would never have known to do that at all, just because I've never done this before. But I read on Ravelry a project page where someone had said, yes, this pattern is lovely. It requires it like assumes certain skills of you. It kind of expects you to know certain things. And she said, like, it expects you to be able to read charts. It expects you to know to knit a selvage edge. And I was like, okay, chart reading, I can learn. If you've never knit from a chart before, by the way, it's really pretty intuitive. So I would definitely try it out if you haven't yet. But that aside, I didn't know about the selvage edge. So that like sent me on a mission, a research pathway to try to figure out what exactly selvage edge was and how I needed to knit it, what it was for. Obviously, as the name says, it's a selvage edge, so it's for stitching up. It's like in sewing, you know, it's like the little extra edge for you to then have space to seam up your sweater, and also for it to make it easier for you, because of the edge. Then it's easier to see the stitches and to pick up the stitches when you seam the pieces together. So I did some research. I asked on Instagram what different people's preferred method was for knitting a selvage edge, and I got some wonderful feedback. And I decided to go for a slipped stitch selvage edge. On my swatch, I knit a garter selvage, just 2 stitches of garter stitch, and that was okay too, but I felt like at the end it might be a little bit bulky. I thought it would maybe be just a tiny bit bulky, because I don't know, probably it wouldn't really be, but for some reason I just felt like the slip stitch would be a little bit cleaner, a little bit, just obviously a little bit cleaner. And so there are different kinds of slip stitch selvages that one can do. There are just plain slip stitches, or you can and you can knit, and I don't really know, there's like one that's just called the slip stitch selvage. I forget exactly what that is. There's the French selvage edge, which also looks super beautiful. It's like also very lovely slip stitches. And then there's the English version, and I think that's the one I'm doing. I think I'm doing the English selvage edge, which is that on the right side, you slip the first stitch as if to knit, and the last stitch you also slip as if to knit, and on the wrong side you purl both of those extra stitches. So when you cast on 2 extra stitches, one at the beginning and one at the end of the row, and then you do, as I said, you slip on the right side and purl on the wrong side. And so far it's looking wonderful. It's very simple, it's really easy to remember, and just very intuitive. So I'm liking it. We'll see how it is when I end up seaming it all up, but I think it's going to be wonderful. And I mean, you really just need that one little extra stitch just to seam things up very nice and cleanly. But I'm so thankful for Ravelry, because, I've never read really, I've read a bit from different knitting books and different knitting websites and stuff, but I didn't have like a proper teacher or something. Some people have someone who teaches them and they just know to do that, but I didn't. So in moments like this, I'm so thankful for Ravelry and for the people who write proper good notes on their patterns. I think that's just, it's so helpful. And I always love to read pattern notes on Ravelry. And my kind of resolution is this year, or in the future, when I knit something like this, a sweater like this, or any project, that I really keep good notes, because that has been so helpful to me to read other people's notes. And I don't know, it really helps you as you knit. So that is my Clover, and here are the little stitch markers I'm using. I got these stitch markers a few years ago on Etsy, and they're absolutely beautiful. They are little seashells, and they're just so beautiful and stunning. Oh, they're so cute. This one is showing me that that's the first marker on the right side. So then I always know which side I'm on too. Not as if you can't easily tell, but yeah, there it is. I was showing you the wrong side, but yeah, there it is. There's the Clover. So the next thing I have to show you are my socks. The socks I'm knitting for my husband, Nick. Last week I didn't show you the completed first sock, so I will show you that first. And it looks, excuse this long end here. I feel like this sock looks small because he has a size 47 or 48 foot European shoe size, so it's sometimes actually hard to find shoes that fit him. But I feel like this sock looks just so normal and small, which is just so funny. I had expected his socks to seem so just massive and like so cumbersome and not, I don't know, I thought it would be much more work, but it's really not. They're really look normal. It does not seem that big of a deal. And this is the first sock. And this colorway is so crazy and wild, but he loves it. And he's so excited about these socks. So I'm really hoping that I can get the next one finished soon, because he's so excited to wear them. I've never knit socks for him before, and he's been asking for them. And so he's just going to love wearing these. I'm so excited for him. And so I also feel like, as I'm showing you this, I hope that this is sufficient. I don't feel very professional without a real sock blocker. So many people have these beautiful sock blockers, but maybe one day I will get one. Right now, this will have to do. But the colorway that this is and the yarn, this is the Opal yarn Hundertwasser colorway series, based on the artwork of Hundertwasser. I don't know his first name, but Same as Hundertwasser. And this is the colorway Blinde, the main part of the sock. The heel and the toe are a different colorway, which I don't know the name of, and I can't find the ball band. Hopefully I'll be able to find the ball band at some point soon, because it's just, I feel like I should tell you the name, but I like both of them, and I think it's so cool how they look together, because it's like they're super crazy socks and just so colorful and bright and wild, and even adding more kind of contrast. I think it's just so cool and so fun. So I love it, and I actually really like this colorway too. I love these like kind of beige and cream colors. I think it's lovely. So this is the first sock. And the second sock is also coming along very nicely. I have finished the cuff or the leg, and I'm now on the heel. I am doing just a slip stitch heel flap in gusset. And there we are. As I said last time, I don't try to make them matchy-matchy. I think it's so fun when they're kind of mismatchy, unless I know somebody really likes matching socks and I'm knitting them for them. But for myself and for Nick, this is completely sufficient, and it's kind of cool, actually. I like the way that it looks. So there we are. Those are my the current socks on the needles, and I just cannot wait to have these done. Hoping that this goes by quickly. I mean, this week I haven't knit that much. I've knit probably most of the cuff I've knit this week, but yeah, not that much. So I'm really excited for this to be over. This yarn is so much fun to knit with because I love to see that transition of color, and I'm always excited to see which stripe is coming next. But I have to be honest with you, I don't know if it's just me, or if it's just this batch, but it's been extremely difficult because I keep encountering huge tangles in the middle of the center pull-out ball. Maybe this is not meant to be a pull-out ball kind of yarn. Maybe it's meant to be from the outside. I don't know, but I keep having to, it keeps getting super tangled inside for some reason, and then I have to pull out a chunk of the yarn. It's all tangled up, and then untangle it. Then I wrap it around the outside to keep it in order and orderly, and then at some point I knit for a while from the center pull, and then there is a new tangle, and so I don't know if that's my fault. I don't know what that has to do with, but it's been the case for both this colorway and the other one. So I don't know. I think it's probably just my fault. But the next socks that I knit with this, I will not be knitting from the center, I think, because it takes up so much time to just keep untangling knots. And I mean, I could just I could just break the yarn and then start fresh, but I for some reason, I don't want to do that. I want to keep the color going. Yeah. It's a little bit difficult, but also not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world at all. Just kind of a little interruption to the knitting process, but it's okay. I know some people actually like untangling knots and untangling yarn knots, I've heard. I can't imagine that. I don't like it. It makes me so frustrated, if I'm honest, to have to untangle big knots in my yarn, but I just think it's so lovely and so cool if someone actually likes it, because it's kind of it's so useful and so wonderful to have that view on life that you end up liking untangling tangled yarn. I have to get my tea out because it's been sitting here and steeping for this whole time, and it's definitely now very well brewed. Today I'm drinking out of this teacup, which I think you've seen before, but it's just a lovely little teacup from my little teacup collection. That is from, I don't know where this one's from. Oh, it's a flea market find, for sure. That's one thing that I've been missing so much. I mean, there's been no flea market for almost a year now, and going to the flea market was always something that Nick and I love to do on the weekends, and just to look around and to try to find some kind of treasure, or just to have fun and see what there is. It's almost like a museum. And we found so many cool things at flea markets. Everything from Polaroid cameras to musical instruments to teacups. We found so many amazing things, and I don't know, I just miss that. That's something that I miss so much, is going to the flea market. But anyway, that's my knitting so far. And I just have to say a huge thank you to those of you who wrote last time when I talked about the mushroom sweater and how I wasn't feeling working on it, and I wasn't so sure about it, and I just didn't enjoy it that much. It was just so lovely to get that encouragement, and to just kind of let go of that project for now. I've decided I'm going to put it in hibernation, and, you know, probably I'm going to end up frogging that little sweater. But, you know, if maybe I'll come back to it, maybe not. But for now, I'm just releasing it, putting it in hibernation consciously. I think also just being kind of intentional about that and saying, I'm not going to knit on this right now. You know, instead of having this feeling like it's sitting there, I need to finish it. It's like, it's taking up needles. You know, I have a limited amount of needles. It's taking up one of my pairs of needles. Sometimes that's like a motivator to finish something when I know, okay, I have these needles. I want to use them for this project. I need to finish that other project before I can move on to the next. I feel like I'm just releasing that project for now. And maybe I'll come back to it. Sometimes that's happened before where I thought there's no way I'm going to go back to that. And then in the end, I do, and I enjoy it even. But right now, I know that that's not what I want to be working on, so I'm letting it go. And yeah, I've been doing other things instead. And Esmeralda has still been very present. She's been very present in my crafting world this week, even without her mushroom sweater, because I've been making something for her birthday. Her birthday's coming up so soon. It's just, yeah, a little bit more than a month away. And a first birthday is like, it's just so special. I can't believe she's going to be 1, and it's just, I can't take it. It's like, it's crazy. I can't fathom it. But I wanted to make it special for her, and kind of thinking about what we can do for her first birthday, because here we're still very much on lockdown and it doesn't look like there's an end in sight still. Hopefully before then, like by then, there's going to be changes, but a traditional birthday party is probably not going to happen for her, which, I mean, is okay. She's turning 1. She's not going to notice. It's going to be special, but I want to make it really special. And so I felt like the theme I want to have for her birthday party is going to be like flowers and spring, because it's springish and it's flowery. And I don't know, I'm just thinking like I want to make a cake and have like edible flowers on the cake. I want to just make it very floral and springy and beautiful. And so one thing that I also wanted to do for her birthday, which now I'm getting to the crafting part. I feel like I'm trying to like tell you one thing, but I'm also trying to like bring it back to this project. But the thing I wanted to make for her was a birthday crown, because Nick, in his childhood, his mother always made him a birthday crown on his birthday. She like made it out of paper, or like, you know, kind of like cardboard, or I don't know, the construction paper. She made him little crowns every year. And he always told me that was one of his favorite kind of birthday memories, is to have this birthday crown. He'd wake up and she would have this lovely little paper crown, and he could wear it all day long, and it was his birthday. And I thought that was such a sweet and wonderful kind of tradition, because as much as possible, I think it's so lovely to add a meaning to some kind of special fun holiday with things other than just gifts, or things like gifts, or like, you know, consuming food or whatever. It's all fun and celebratory, but it's also just nice to have other parts of the tradition which are just based on different things, like wearing a birthday crown. So I really like that idea, and I decided I wanted to make Esmeralda a birthday crown. So I like went onto Pinterest and typed in birthday crown, and then I found these most beautiful photos and most beautiful pictures of just these kind of needle felted birthday crowns for children. I also went on Etsy and found them on Etsy, and like there are people who sew beautiful birthday crowns and who make them out of paper too, and different materials, but these wool felted birthday crowns were I just found absolutely beautiful. I thought that they looked so stunning and so, I don't know, just whimsical and precious. And I think birthday crowns are kind of like a Waldorf thing too, because a lot of times there was like Waldorf birthday crown, and then there were like these needle felted birthday crowns. But I'm not sure, but I decided I wanted to make one for her. So I have so much wool, obviously. I am a spinner. I love to spin, and I have quite a few little bits and bobs of extra wool and wool roving and different wool kinds of wool that I can use to felt with. But I wanted to get like a plain wool, 100% wool kind of felt sheet, it's like a piece of paper, but it's made of 100% wool. I don't know how to describe it. I hope that's describing it well. So I found some online. I ordered 4 kind of sheets of wool, and it's like wool felt. It's like these felt pieces of paper, but it's wool. And I ordered 4, and I think for each crown, like I will need 1 per crown. So I'm gonna make a few of them, and just for fun, kind of see which one I like the most. The first one is kind of my practice one, but I'm gonna show it to you. This is how it looks so far. It's kind of, you know, it's very imperfect. Like up here, I need to fix this. It looks kind of like funny, but you know, it's just like a little kind of scenery that is gonna be like her little birthday crown. Now this one's just a practice one, like I said. But I had seen so many beautiful examples that I kind of combined different elements that I saw and kind of just put things together and just kind of like improvised a little bit. And it's just, I just have started, so there's so much more to do. And like I said, this is the practice one, so I don't think this is going to be the final one, although Nick loves this and he thinks this should be the final version. But I hope you can tell what this is. So this is a little bunny. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying to make a bunny. I still want to give it a nose and an eye and make it, you know, put the details in, but I've kind of made this shape first. There's some flowers and kind of just like a little meadow and the sky. And I really, really love it. I think it's so precious. And I was a florist for a while, for a couple of years. I kind of studied to be a florist. I went to floristry school and I have done different workshops for floristry. I travel to do them. I like really loved working with flowers. And then I worked at a couple of different florists and as a floral designer, just in floral shops, but also for weddings and for events. And I really, really enjoyed being a florist. I really enjoyed working with flowers and floral design. And I think that floral design and floristry is kind of a profession that lends itself very much to like the skills I learned there kind of can be applied and have been applied to my crafting and my knitting and my spinning, just in the sense that they're very tactile crafts and floral design is very tactile, and elements of technique and texture and color apply a lot to both of these different art forms. And I think another thing which I think they have in common is that both of them have to do with natural materials. I was going to say living materials, but yeah, they're not. I mean, wool isn't alive. Flowers kind of are alive, but wool isn't. But they're just natural materials. And the kind of sensation you get with working with things that are natural and that aren't synthetic and that are alive or have been alive, or have touched life and touched the earth, are really unique because both are just organic materials that have their own features. And even within, you know, a kind of flower, whether that be, you know, within a type, within like the whole entire variety of roses, or even one variety of rose and one color of rose, each rose in a bunch that grows on a bush is different. And each rose is unique. And I think that the same is true with wool and with, you know, fiber. Of course, not synthetic fiber and not maybe mass-produced fiber, but with rustic yarn and with rustic wool. And when you spin, you really can see that and feel that as you work with the wool and spin it up. So I loved that so much. I feel like I'm digressing totally, but I wanted to just say that, like, I had just started to remember some beautiful flowers that I haven't seen for a long time. And I'm thinking I'm going to do one of these little crowns, maybe with just different flower types. And maybe we'll embroider a couple on that aren't as easy to felt on. I don't know, but I really like the idea. And I think flower-wise fits well with the season of her birthday. It's kind of a neutral, simple theme. So we'll see. I saw also, like on Pinterest, I saw the most beautiful focaccia bread that had this like flower layout because someone had put like onions, like green onions and bell peppers and different vegetables, like radishes, all in the form of like a little flower garden on the focaccia. And I think this looks so cool and so delicious and so beautiful. So I might try that too. I don't know. But I don't know. It's like at the age of 1, she doesn't have many things that she doesn't have many opinions yet. So I'm sure that next year or the year after, she's going to have a lot of desires for her birthday party and her birthday, how she wants to celebrate, what kind of cake she wants, what kind of theme she wants to have, if that's even, if we have a themed birthday or not. But yeah, this year I'm just enjoying kind of the spring themed birthday party, and this crown is so much fun. And needle felting is something that I never really was interested in doing. A lot of the things look adorable, but I always thought it would be a lot of work, and I don't know, it just wasn't for me, I thought. And I would say probably like traditional needle felting of little like figures, I don't think it's necessarily for me. I'm sure that maybe it'll be fun with Esmeralda when she's older to do, but it's I don't think that's necessarily I'm not like in love with needle felting now that I want to like make a million needle felted things. But this crown has been so much fun. It's like kind of like painting with with wool. And so it's also super simple. It goes really quickly. You just need a needle, a felting needle, and you just poke away and it then felts. This is how the back looks, by the way. Kind of see how the colors show through where they've been felted, which I thought was also an interesting thing. I don't know, I shouldn't expect that. So what I will do with this crown to complete it is after I finish the little picture on the front, I will get the other half of this crown, which when I cut this out, I cut it in half so that it would be, 2 pieces. I'll put the other piece at the back, and then I will kind of stitch it up around the edges, and then I will sew a little band or, I don't know, a ribbon or something here on either side so that it can be wrapped around her head and worn. And then I have one other purple sheet of wool felt, like these paper, it's not paper, like this like sheet of wool felt, and then that's purple, and then I have 2 other ones that are kind of natural wool colored, so kind of white. But yeah, I'm really excited about this project, and it's been so much fun to work on. If you're interested in doing it, I would recommend trying it out. I will leave in the description box a video that I watched, kind of a tutorial on how to make birthday crowns, needle felt them. Super, super simple. I'll just leave that in case you're interested in seeing. I think that's all that I have to show you crafting-wise this week, but I did want to mention the Tudor Roses knit along as well. This is a knit along that's running all the way through the year of 2021, one that I'm hosting along with my fellow podcasters, Sophie of the Beaka Creations Knitting Podcast and Bella of the 100 Acre Wool Knitting Podcast. We're so excited to be knitting patterns from the Tudor Roses book by Alice Starmore. This book is filled with stunning, absolutely beautiful designs. Just everything from extremely intricate pieces to pieces that are like simple but elevated by amazing little design elements. And there are really in this book designs for every skill level of knitter, for people who just have, who know how to knit into purl, to people who know how to do or who would like to do more complicated techniques. There's something for everyone in this book. And the designs are just absolutely stunning. So I hope that you'll join in with us. If you want to join in the chatter and just kind of hear and chat about the process or your ideas or your dream pattern, you can join in on Instagram on the hashtag, or you can join in on Ravelry. All 3 of us have Ravelry threads open for the Tudor Roses knit along, and you are more than welcome to jump in all of those places on Ravelry and on Instagram. The more the merrier, and the more chat and community, the better. Speaking of Ravelry, you can join my Ravelry group, Merryweather Knitting, and come and chat with me about knitting and crafting and spinning on there. And you can also find me on Ravelry as the username gabriellak. You can also find me on Instagram as Merryweather Knitting. Before I say goodbye to you, I also wanted to announce the giveaway winners from my video 2 videos ago, in the Tudor Roses video, episode 11, I think. I had a giveaway, and I'm going to now put the usernames here on the screen, showing you. I've chosen from a random YouTube comment selector, and I'll put those usernames here on the screen as well as in the description box. And in order to collect your prize of the pattern of your choice from Ravelry, the best way to contact me, I think, would just be to send me a Ravelry message, a message on Ravelry that I know your username, and just tell me in the message which pattern you'd like, and you'll receive that as a gift there. So I hope that you enjoy that as well. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been so lovely to spend this time with you and to chat about knitting, and I cannot wait to see you again next week. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a lovely week, and I'll see you later. Bye!